Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from OnlinePhotographyTraining.com. In the past, I did a review of a product called Photolemur. Photolemur is a one-step photo processing solution. You simply grab an image, it even could be a raw file, and drag it into Photolemur, and Photolemur will do all the processing for you. Well, they've come out with a new version, version 3.0. And actually, I was quite surprised the number of people that are interested in Photolemur, people that told me they downloaded the product and they really like it. So I thought I should stay on top of it and do a review of this latest version. Now, full disclosure, I am not being paid by the company to do this video, but I am an affiliate for the company. So if you use my link to go to their website to buy their product, or if you use my discount code, I will make a commission off the sale. I do have a code of ethics statement. If you would read it, it's in the description below this video. A link to it is in the description below this video, and it will explain all about my affiliations with various companies. Now, with that said, as I mentioned, Photolemur has come out with version 3.0. And if you guys watch those previous videos I've done on Photolemur, you probably know that I had a couple little quibbles with it. One was I didn't like their export function. Well, they did an upgrade from that video when I did that, and I complained about their export function, and they improved export greatly. Now the export is really well done. The other thing I didn't care for is I thought it was just a little slow. They've made it way faster. So they fixed that in this version. The other thing I didn't care for, I didn't like how it processed portraiture. So if you had a studio image or a lifestyle shot, anything with a person in it, I really didn't like the way it processed the skin and the eyes, mainly. Well, they really fixed that in this version, and I'm really impressed with this version. I know I got a lot of emails from people that use Photolemur for stock photography. They don't want to spend a lot of time processing their images for stock, and they use it for that. And I think the improvements they've done for the processing of images or processing of images that have people in it will I think you stock photographers will really be happy with that. Now, to begin with, I'm going to demo it, and I'm just going to take a landscape image and drag it in there. We're going to do a portrait in a minute. And if you watch those other videos, you can see you just drag an image in there, and this happens to be a Nikon RAW file. And Photolemur does this little routine where it's enhancing white balance. It tells you right here, looking for skies. So it has these algorithms that it looks for specific elements of an image, and will do processing to those specific to those elements. So if your image has a sky in it, it will process the sky a specific way. If your image has grass in it, it will process grass. And as you can see, here's the before and after. This is our straight raw file with no processing done at all. And then you can see that as I draw it back, there's the processed image in Photolemur. And you can see it did it very quickly. And what I like about Photolemur, and I mentioned this in the previous videos, is it does not over-process the image. It just processes it in a very natural way. So I really like that. Now, if it did happen to over-process the image, it's very easily corrected. If you click on this little brush down here in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see that there's a slider. And this is just really an opacity slider. What it will do as you draw it back, it will start to blend the processed image with the original image. In this case, it was in a RAW file. So you could see you could dial it all the way back to no processing at all, or fully processed to the far right. So even if it did happen to over-process an image to your taste, you could just pull back on the slider a little bit, and it probably will fit your style and your taste. So that is how it does on a landscape image. And as I mentioned in the past, I really didn't like the way it processed a portrait. So we are going to process a portrait, and then I'll demo how to use Photolemur export function to export the image. So I have this portrait here. It was done in my studio. and it is a Fuji raw file this time. And I know a lot of times people don't like the way like Lightroom processes Fuji raw files. So I specifically picked this image because it is a Fuji raw file, so you could see how Photolemur does the processing of it. Now it's a pretty simple image done in the studio. It's actually, I was imitating an image of Twiggy, the model Twiggy from the 60s and 70s. And this is a pose she did. And you could see now there's before, that's the straight studio shot, straight out of camera. And as I draw it back, there's the processed image. And I think it's improved the portraiture processing greatly. Now there's a couple little tweaks here that I really like. You may notice as I draw it back that my model's eyes are getting larger. That's because that is an option. And a lot of times we post-processors, when we post-process a portrait, particularly a portrait of a woman, we will make their eyes slightly bigger. No bigger than 10%, but we do make them just a little bit bigger. And this is a fitting shot for that, because in this exact pose, if you may remember, it's Richard Avedon took this image of Twiggy, and her eyes are absolutely humongous in it. Twiggy has like non-human huge eyes. So that's pretty cool that Photolemur automatically will enlarge the eyes. Now you can turn that off. Again, if you click on this little brush down here at the bottom, you'll see that there's eye enlargement is on. And if I simply click on that icon, I could turn that off. And to the left of that, face enhancement is done. That's just letting Photolemur know that there is a face in the image and that you'd like it to smooth the skin and do enhancements to the face. Specific enhancements will be it'll enhance the iris, and it will give some detail to the lips and redden the lips a little bit. And to the far left, what it will do for all images, it will do automatic lens correction if you have it on. And you can see I have that on there. So I'm really happy with this latest version, particularly because it's now processing images of people much better than previous versions. Now, when you're satisfied with the processing and you want to export the image, you click on this little export button right here. So it couldn't be easier. And you can see you could export it to either the disk, export it to send an email, or directly to SmugMug. In this case, I'll do the disk. And it will come out with your computer's built-in like save function right here. So you could save it as a JPEG, PNG, TIFF, JPEG 2000, Photoshop file, or a PDF. And you could adjust the quality of a JPEG with this slider. Now, this advanced setting is really what they did to, in my mind, fix the export function, because I didn't really like that you couldn't resize the image when you exported it, if you remember from my previous video. Now you just click on this advanced setting and you'll get this, and it will have a couple presets built in. You could either send it to the web as a JPEG or to email. You can see it will change some settings between those two. Or you could come in and you could export it to your specific settings that you want. In this case here, we could export it to the desktop, but you could click Browse, and I want it to go to the desktop. So it's going to export there. Now I could do some specific file naming. Right now, let's say I want the prefix to be custom text, and I could give it to be, I'll go Twiggy, even though it's not Twiggy technically, as the prefix of the image. The base name, I could give it a, let's say, a timestamp, so the date. And you could change the date format. Right now it's set to day, month, and year, and I'll leave it at that with a 4-digit year. And then let's say a suffix, and I'll give it a counter, and it's going to start with number 1. So it's going to, as I have it set now, have Twiggy underscore the date underscore 1. So you could experiment with that, and you could have it export to the exact name you like. You could again export it to JPEG, PNG, TIFF, JPEG 2000, Photoshop file, or PDF. I'm going to go to a JPEG. I'm going to go to a quality of 100. Usually I found with JPEGs, if the quality goes below 80, you'll start to notice the degradation in the image. So I try to be at 80 or above. And then the color profile, we have sRGB, Adobe RGB, or ProPhoto RGB. Most monitors will not be able to display anything above sRGB. But if you're going to print this on your own, you may want a color profile that will better match your printer. One of the other two might do that. So I'm going to leave it at sRGB for this. And we could resize by we could either do the original size of the image, or we could set the long edge to a specific number of pixels, the short edge, or we could do exact dimensions. Now I'm going to resize it, and I'm going to have the long edge be, I don't know, 2080, all right, on the long edge. And there's a little checkbox here that will, if you check it, not allow Photolemur to enlarge the image. If you use dimensions and you put in numbers, or any of the other two where you're actually putting in a number that is bigger than the actual size of the image, if you click that, it will just go to the maximum it can. You usually don't want to enlarge an image larger than the original size of the image, because it will introduce artifacts and noise, and it won't look right. So click that checkbox and then click continue, and you can see it's exporting a masterpiece. And when it's done, it will export it to my desktop. And I would say that the exporting function does take a little bit too long, in my opinion. Hopefully they could make that go a little faster in future editions. Now we could reveal it in Finder, but it is right here on my desktop, and if I double click on it, there is my image processed and exported. So I really do like the improvements that they've done with this latest version of Photolemur. I think they've done a great job, particularly again with portraiture. I think it just does a really nice job. So that's it for this video. There'll be again my affiliate links in the description below this video. If you'd like to use them, I would appreciate it. Also, I have a discount code. The discount code will not work on product that's already on sale and does not work on all their different product. So hopefully the discount code works for whatever product you are buying. Thank you, everyone that watches my videos. I truly do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon.